United. I know Michael is going to interrupt me in a minute and say, hang on a second, things have changed at one North London club in the last few days, and therefore could that change the destination of Bryan Mbeumo? He has 1 year left on his Brentford contract, but the club do have an additional year, so therefore it's effectively a 2-year deal that would get Bryan Mbeumo out of his contract. We know that there is interest, and we know that Brentford want around £60+ million for the wide man who's been there since 2019. His numbers stack up, very consistent with what he does, brilliant relationships with every single person he's been at Brentford. Ivan Toney, Said Benrahma, Ollie Watkins. He's been a consistent force there, but has his Brentford days come to an end?
And if they have, it seems to point to Manchester United then. But, Michael, Thomas Frank's arrival at Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there have been discussions throughout the last week to 10 days, Brentford and Tottenham Hotspur, very amicable discussions. Thomas Frank, coaching staff, and initial discussions over Bryan Mbeumo. I think for Brentford, it's getting the deal they want, is it? I don't think they're necessarily interested on the club he eventually joins. There's Anton Semenyo Spurs are looking at as well, and there's a number of players around Europe Spurs are looking at in those attacking positions. I think for Mbeumo, what I understand is he's quite intrigued by a potential prospect of reuniting with Thomas Frank. For me personally, I still think it does lean towards Manchester United. Gone are the days about they want to play in the Champions League, they want to play in Europe. It's still Manchester United at the end of the day. But what Tottenham do have on their side is one, yes, they've got Champions League football and a manager he knows ever so well in Thomas Frank. So it's very much a wait and see. It's an intriguing one, but he potentially does have a decision to make.
Does the arrival of Matthias Tel affect a potential deal in any way?
Nothing to do with it whatsoever. Right. Matthias Tel was always going to stay. Ange Postecoglou said to me in a press conference that I've signed him for the long term. Unfortunately, Ange won't be there, but it will be Thomas Frank. But Tel's 19. He's still very young. Now, when Spurs signed Matthias Tel on loan, it was with an option to buy him permanently. Spurs have brought that fee down. That's what Spurs have done. But my understanding was it was always going to be a permanent, and also Thomas Frank has given the thumbs up on this deal. So that's an exciting one in itself. But Tottenham's transfer plans going forward have no bearing on the permanent sign of Matthias Tel.
I don't want to go away too much from the agenda, but Thomas Frank's record for developing players and improving players is sensational. You know, he worked with the Denmark under-16s, 18s. He's been around working with young players, and as obviously you just have to look at the roll call of honour of Brentford players that have all improved under him. I think he'll have a fascinating role in what they do over the course of this summer, and I think the recruitment will be one to watch.
So we'll see where Mbeumo maybe ends up, whether it be Brentford, Manchester United or Tottenham. Speaking of United, strikers, big talking point at Old Trafford this summer. We'll talk about Victor Gyökeres in a moment, but let's start with Hugo Ekitike, with you, Mark. Is he an option for Amorim?
He's certainly a player of interest for Manchester United. Obviously, they're exploring the market at the moment. They're looking to try and recruit a number 9. A lot of Manchester United fans will say, well, hang on a sec, what about Xerxes? What about Rasmus Højlund? We know there has been links, according to Sky in Italy, with a return to Italy and Inter Milan for Højlund. As far as he's concerned, he wants
a man who has dominated much of the early transfer talk this summer. That is Bryan Mbeumo. Will he be following Thomas Frank out of Brentford? And if so, will it be to Spurs or will it be to Manchester United? We spoke to the player yesterday, and you'll have seen that with us, I'm sure. Wasn't giving too much away, was he? Let's, before we come to the Spurs angle on this, get the Manchester United perspective with you, Mark. Linked with him for some time. They've got competition from Tottenham Hotspur. How confident are they of getting their man?
Well, Manchester United will be supremely confident of getting...
So Manchester United are still pushing hard to sign Bryan Mbeumo, according to reports from Sky Sports and Fabrizio Romano. I just brought up this updates for you guys to at least hear the positive news that is coming out. But Spurs are also fighting to hijack the deal. But stick to the end of this video where I will show you what Fabrizio Romano said about the deal, because I think Bryan Mbeumo is coming to Manchester United because they are pushing hard.
Other side of Manchester, today, Man United and Brentford back in club-to-club talks for Bryan Mbeumo. After the first bid, 45 plus 10 million pounds rejected by Brentford, the two clubs are in contact again. Let's wait to see when the official bid will come from Man United, but it will get closer to what Brentford want. Brentford started from £70 million. Then, as always in negotiations, they can drop the pricing for something close to what Man United paid for Mateusz Cunha, £62.5 million. So let's see, around 60-65 could be enough to convince Brentford. Let's see now how the conversation will go, how much Man United will offer in terms of fixed fee and also add-ons. This is also a factor in this story. But Bryan Mbeumo wants to go to Manchester United. This is the desire of the player. He wants to wear the shirt of Man United. He wants to play at Old Trafford. Despite approaches from Newcastle, Arsenal and more clubs, his priority is Manchester United. He has an agreement with Manchester United and now working to get the deal done. Club to club, Man United are accelerating. Cunha has arrived, and then they want to add one more special player like Bryan Mbeumo behind the striker, because they also want a striker for this summer transfer window. And remember,
as you all heard, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Manchester United are tabling a second bid for Bryan Mbeumo, and in the coming days we're gonna hear the huge news on it. Remember, Manchester United's first bid of £45 million plus 10 million add-ons was rejected by Brentford because they think Bryan Mbeumo is worth more than that, saying that for Manchester United to sign player like Mateusz Cunha for £62.5 million, it shows that Bryan Mbeumo is something of that level. So Manchester United should up their bid for Bryan Mbeumo. So Manchester United are on discussions and negotiations with Brentford. So that's what I gathered today, the information I gathered today. So I think Manchester United are really in need of an extra number 10 that will play behind the striker alongside Mateusz Cunha. You know, ruben amorim has prioritized signing Cunha first, and now he said he needs Bryan Mbeumo. But I'm sure that Manchester United will win over Tottenham, to get Bryan Mbeumo, because the deal has already cost a lot of heat for Manchester United. So let's see what happens, guys. Please don't forget to subscribe for more of this. Thanks for watching.
Bryan! Thank you. Got Bryan.
Well, that's an early one today, mate.
Thank you. An early one.
Thank you, Bryan. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man.